2, Namco made Dig Dug, a true arcade classic. You could find it in nearly any arcade, and it's been ported to virtually every system since its creation. For those not familiar with Dig Dug, it follows the excavation exploits of Taizo Hori, who is the ex-husband of Tobi Kisi Masuyo, who is the heroine of the game Alien Sector, and the father of Susumu Hori, the main protagonist of the Mr. Driller series. In the game, you must help Taizo clear his subterranean playground of the cute little pukas and the fire-breathing Figars. Basically, you dig tunnels, you squish things with rocks, you grab prizes, and you blow things up with your air hose until they pop. It's Dig Dug. As I just mentioned, Taizo has a son that is the star of the Mr. Driller series. Many people seem to think that they are the same guy, and the Mr. Driller games are the sequels to Dig Dug. Not so. Mr. Driller is a spin-off of Dig Dug. Dig Dug did, however, have a true sequel in 1985 called, appropriately enough, Dig Dug 2. In Dig Dug 2, we find Taizo on a series of islands that are infested by pukas and Figars. Instead of digging this time, Taizo is equipped with a jackhammer, which he uses to make large chunks of the islands fall into the water and drowning any of the enemies that are in the sunken section. Taizo also, once again, has his trusty little air pump, which works the same way it does in the original Dig Dug. You use it to inflate enemies until they pop. Making the island sections fall into the water is a very interesting mechanic, but it often hurts more than it helps. It limits the area that you have to potentially evade the enemies, and also it can be somewhat unpredictable in which part of the island will fall, and it will end up killing you. Dig Dug 2 didn't get a very warm welcome. It came out in 1985 during the arcade slump. Its gameplay was fun, but not quite as compelling as the original Dig Dug. It also didn't have as much polish as the original. The original Dig Dug has little flowers to represent the levels. Dig Dug 2, you get a rather unimaginative number display. The music is also nowhere near as catchy as the music from the original game. I know this sounds negative, but it's not. Dig Dug 2 is still a great game, but it is to Dig Dug's credit to how good that game was. Dig Dug 2 just had too much to live up to, and it just couldn't quite get there. The game lived in obscurity for years, but Namco eventually decided to start including it in their collections. It is included in the Namco Museum Battle Collection for the PSP, Namco Museum DS for the Nintendo DS, and Namco Museum Virtual Arcade for the Xbox 360. The arcade version is also available on the Wii's Virtual Console if you happen to live in Japan. The only retro system to have it was the NES. There were actually two versions of Dig Dug 2 in the arcades. The original version is significantly more challenging than the second version. The PSP and the DS collections include both versions of the game. All other ports were based off the newer, easier version of the game, with the exception of the Japanese Virtual Console version, which is based off the original harder version. If you like Dig Dug or Mr. Driller, you should definitely check out this somewhat overlooked entry in the Hori story, even if it doesn't quite live up to the original. Once again, thank you for tuning in for Classic Credits. I hope you tune in next time, where I hope to show you a game again that you may have forgotten or never even heard about.